Hi, this is Dr. PK for another episode of Molo Life in Tech Stories. We're coming to you really live from Düsseldorf. I arrived this morning from Munich, and today we're going to be going through a very special event where Xponential Europe is here, Molo Tech is here. I didn't come by hovercraft, but some of you thought I would, but I didn't. But definitely we are excited to be here. So let me give you a bit of a background on Xponential and why is it so important to be celebrated, but also to be associated with the messaging that we're trying to bring as Molo Tech. So Xponential is really all about unmanned, but complexity in general when it comes to robotics, uncrewed systems, but also when it comes to just overall understanding how the environment can be better managed and be sustainable through robotics. So it is all about leveraging. It's all about understanding how we can use complexity to really enable a better environment for all. And so it's an incredible message that hopefully you'll get to see as I go through the hall and as I go through the different speakers, and hopefully we'll get some interviews today. So stay tuned and let's see what happens. So one of the great things about drones is that it can look like anything and still perform the right type of missions, which I think is the amazing thing about a drone is that it allows one to really be innovative. So you can see specifically in case point is the Avalux 9X103, as it says. And basically, from what I see, this drone is a medical drone. But the crazy thing about this medical drone is that this is not for supplies. This drone actually carries passengers or injured individuals, specifically from the Bundeswehr, which is, from what I understand, the fundamental reason why this drone is today. So very interesting concept, and I'll probably ask more about it from the person itself. So we're in the middle of the conference, and to be honest, I've met quite a few people, and it's been great. Been great networking, been great trying to understand what the landscape is about, what are some of the challenges in the regulations, what are some of the challenges in the African continent. There's been a really good contingency of African regulators and also overall societies that are trying to promote the usage of drones in the African continent, whether it's agriculture or whether it's overall just, surveillance, asset protection, and so forth. And it's great, right? It's really great to see all these different people trying to give light to drones and give light to how they work and operate and the different possibilities that comes with drones. However, I have a big, big, big problem. Everybody's thinking linear. Everybody's thinking quadcopter. Everybody's thinking fixed wing versus multi-rotor. Everybody's thinking, let me just add AI. Let me just add, deployable platforms. Let me add basically a systems of systems. And nobody is thinking, how do I enhance the human capability with a drone? What do I mean? I mean, the human in the loop is usually from an operator perspective, not from an aided assistant that in a way takes over some of the tasks that the human needs to be doing. Case in point, there is absolutely not even one drone system in this conference, in the whole exhibition, that tells us that a drone can do things that a human being is struggling to do on a consistent basis, not on, kind of aerial, view. But what is it that the humans are struggling to do that a drone is able to do? Does it have to be aerial? Can it be something else? Fundamentally, that is one of the key things right now. So I do think there is some need to really relook at where where everything will be going from now on. I don't believe the trend of drones and the army and basically allowing the army to essentially power what the drones will be like and what we will need drones for over the next few years is sustainable. The war in Ukraine will end. The war in Iran will end. What then? What about all these linear designs, this linear way of thinking? Where will all these investments be? It just feels like a waste of money. It does. It really does. There are so many problems that an organic solution, which could still involve a drone, I feel is missing. Today, I got the chance to chat about kind of the African view on these things. And one of the things that got brought up is that, one advantage the African continent has is its infancy on regulation, which means it can be moldable, it can be flexible, as opposed to European or North American, where they are basically a hammer down because they have no interest in business value or business added value except safety, of course. But at the same time, the African continent, of course, also has issue of chaotic or lack of structure, lack of consistency, and lack of understanding where will this lead us if indeed we allow everybody to do whatever they want to do. So there is definitely room for structure and room for growth, but at the same time, there's a room to validate the architecture of what we want to build. Again, I'm bringing back what we are talking about in Mono Tech. If a decision cannot be simulated, it shouldn't be trusted. If you're going to design a drone and yet you fail to answer the fundamental questions regarding the workforce and how the humans actually can interact and what the humans actually brings, because fundamentally a drone project is just as good as the user confidence over a sustained period of time. Not a gadget, not a toy, but an actual tool that can be thought out, repaired, advanced, hacked, and really made its own within the environment that it needs to operate and reside. That is the $1 million question. Can a drone do that? Right now, none of these really, really expensive and really, really exciting projects, in my view, do that. None of them. They do the same thing, just slightly different. It's a fixed wing with multi-rotor. It's takeoff and landing. It's multi-rotor, and it's used for Amazon for parcel delivery, and. But none of it really answers the question when it comes to fundamentally human-assisted aerial presence that really answers the pain points from a subdeveloping, developing, or underdeveloped country, which in a way, first world countries do have those structural problems. Germany has huge underdevelopment issues that fundamentally does not allow one to really deal with them because it's not popular to talk about it. The unemployment and the lack of, schooling on technology is not popular, yet potentially a drone can do that. A drone school where you take it apart and allow it to really be a tool for imagination is not talked about. None of these guys are talking about education. There's not one educational drone in this whole exhibition. Not one. So it begs to question, what are we doing about it? Where are we going with it? What do we want to do with it? And that's the question that I have for all of you. Thanks for watching this episode of Mono Tech. I'm just going to put it all together. I hope it makes sense. It was a, kind of rough and cut episodes at the Xponential 2026 here in Düsseldorf. I've met so many people that hopefully I will be able to interact with these questions. The hard part of engineering, which is finding out how best to make your engineering innovation useful over a longer period of time, because it takes into account the very pain point the user actually had in the first place, mainly due to the fact that you decided to architect first before making a decision to build. I'm Dr. PK. This was another episode of Molo Molo Tech, African Tech Stories. Until next time, ciao.